All right, we're connected. Let's roll. Hello, and welcome to another episode of This Is Our Year? Question mark.
Question mark.
I'm your
What's up,
host,
man?
Michael Curlin. Joining me as always, Dougie Fresh. Drinking a beer on a Monday. Dedication, team. Dedication.
It's for the show. Hello, everyone. And we haven't had one of these intimate shows in a little bit. We've been so fantasied out. We've had a lot of special guests. We thanked them all. That was fucking awesome. And
It was fun.
But shoot, I feel like we haven't talked about what we've been spending the whole summer talking about in a while. And we have 2 weeks of NFL to catch up on. I mean, man, we've been slacking. So
we've been slacking.
It's good to be back.
Okay. We didn't want to recap week 1 of the NFL season because your team got their dicks kicked in. Yeah. My team got their dicks kicked in. And it was just, I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch the game. I had a Monday night, I had another event scheduled, which we won't get into. And I recorded the game. And I can't wait to see the end. You know, I'm like, well, what's the score? And then I saw the score and I'm like, I'm not going back and watching this. I'm not doing this.
That's crazy. You did. Wow. You don't miss many games.
No, I watched like literally the first 5 plays of the game before I went to my other engagement, and then I shut it off and I recorded it, thinking I'd watch this close game, and it was never a close game. And don't get me wrong, San Francisco, reigning NFC champs, went to the Super Bowl last year. Like,
it's a schedule loss.
Almost could have won this. Should have probably won the Super Bowl if they had played a little bit better and situationally. But
they coughed up leads on both Chiefs Super Bowls. Chiefs Super Bowls.
Right.
And of course, as we saw yesterday, the refs are always on someone's side. But no, back to the Jets. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I didn't watch them. I didn't watch the replay. I didn't go back and watch it. I was like, "Fuck this! I don't need to see it." I watched the highlights on like whatever, on Tuesday morning because it was the only game. So they did the Monday Night Football highlights, and Aaron Rodgers obviously gets way more airplay than anybody. So it was just watching that ad nauseum, and I'm like, I don't need to go back and diagnose every play. I'm good. So I did that, and then I watched a good majority of yesterday's game. I shut it off after the first quarter for about 30 minutes. Didn't watch the second quarter because it was very frustrating. And I'm like, man, 3 and out. Is this, penalty on offense? And I'm like, this is going to piss me off. If we lose to the fucking Titans, it's almost as bad as Rodgers tearing his Achilles. I don't need to, sit here and
against Wild Will Levis. By the way, I hope we can make it through this episode. You're cutting in and out, which means that it's probably my connection. The audio is fine. I'm just like, I'm seeing you like stop motion this stuff. Yeah, dude. It was we're right into the Jets. It was kind of a boring game. I obviously had that was priority number 3 for me. 1:00 saw a Mets game, a Giants game, and a Jets game. Come on, guys.
Right.
You know what? I think that's the NFL penalizing New York for being so effing bad. And yes, these teams suck, man. I didn't see much of the Jets game. I saw whatever was on Red Zone, of course, because I was watching. Oh, I'm sorry. Jets were 4th priority. And what's his face? Levis. Did I call him Willis? I'm sorry if I did.
No, you called him Levis.
Okay, yeah. Levis looked just out of control as usual. And thank God you guys won though, because if your defense had lost to him,
yikes. So that's my takeaway. Like, our defense got fucking crushed in San Francisco. I didn't lose a lot of sleep over that. It was tough, and everyone's ringing the fucking Hassan Reddick bell, and I'm like, okay, let's fucking slow down. It's not like he's a run stopper. We didn't stop the run, and that was the problem. So,
well, hold on. Let's we have a long show. I mean, did I haven't been paying attention. Did he show up in shape? Like he was ready to go?
Hassan Reddick still holding out. He's not even playing.
Oh, I thought he signed. Mm-mm. Jesus, man. I had a weird weekend too. I won't get into it either, but I could have sworn I saw the headline on Monday or Sunday morning. Jesus, I'm sorry. Sorry,
No,
guys.
not that. I mean, hey, I'm gonna go back and check now because maybe I missed it because I'm an
It was
idiot. But
it was
no.
like on the crawl for some reason. So like I just meant I didn't. I guess it didn't register. I mentally noted that. Oh, okay, he finally showed up.
Let's see. I don't think so. I think I would have seen
My
that.
bad.
Yeah. No, no, no. So
So you so okay, but you're talking about like the defense. You know, he's a pass rusher first and foremost, and you're still
yeah,
getting
he's a
carved up by
pass
like
rusher. Jermaine
and
Johnson
you're getting carved
towards.
up by like Spears and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we did
But
okay. We held our own against the
Pollard
run
had a good day.
yesterday. He had an okay day. Spears got injured. Um, we did much better against the run, but like we couldn't. Will Levis almost led a game tying drive in the fourth quarter,
Right.
and Calvin Ridley beat Sauce on a long play, and that was
crazy. I don't know how that throw got through. I think Sauce was confused also, but
yeah, and that shit's gonna happen, right? But
yeah,
like the defense has not been inspiring through 2 games, and you can give San Francisco their credit. They're a top offense in the NFL, but Tennessee's supposed to be a bottom feeder this year. Like, not a bottom feeder, but they're probably going to be fighting for relevancy in the AFC South with,
yeah.
Seeing what they got with Levis as a quarterback. And so far, it's a mixed bag of results. Like there's a world where they could be 2-0 with Levis, and they're 0-2. So.
They have some good pieces, but you're right. I mean, it all comes down to Levis. But yeah, anyway, thank God you guys are 1-1 just for all your sanity sakes.
Yes, and it was a costly win.
Yeah,
Johnson's out for the year. Mosley got injured.
Yeah.
So I think it just puts more pressure on signing Reddick now to bring him in to replace Johnson. But
yeah, he just earned a few extra bucks, huh?
Probably. I think at this point you can't now. Not with Rodgers, you can't fuck around here. You got as much as I thought the Jets had the leverage until probably the third quarter yesterday, and now I think you just got to figure out pay him and bring him in. So.
Yeah, and so on that note, I know we love talking about the Aaron Rodgers, but how do you feel about the offense right now?
I feel like it was still a little rusty yesterday. I think I will say I think the Titans have a good defense, and they were definitely frustrating the Jets all day. I think the Jets were really wanting to lean on the run because they have not only Breece Hall, who's one of the best backs in the NFL, but this kid Braylon Allen looks really good so far. And so, and he was my favorite back coming out of this year's class, which wasn't a good running back class to begin with. But I like the guys in the Derrick Henry mold, the Brandon Jacobs mold. They're just hard to tackle, and he's a great pass protector. He can catch. He had 2 touchdowns yesterday. I mean, he was the hero of the game. So,
yeah, he really. I mean, I went and I realized Breece Hall had better stats than I thought he did because it seemed like every time I looked up, it was Braylon Allen doing something. But yeah, no,
they both played really good football. Yeah. I just think, Garrett Wilson needs to get going, but that's hard to do when you don't have a number 2 receiver, and he's the only guy that Rodgers is really looking for.
What's going on with Mikey Williams? Like, not many snaps?
He's on a snap count. I think he played more this week than he did last week. Yeah. And I think he's getting into game shape. But, I think for this offense in general, it's probably going to take week 4 or 5 before they're firing on all cylinders. So I'm not overly concerned, but I also think we got some work to do. And just the defense needs to, get solidified. So if all those things happen, which is asking a lot, I think we'll be okay. But there's a chance some of those things don't happen and we're fucking 500, right? So just being realistic here.
Well, yeah, but Miami suddenly is on the ropes. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're scared of New England.
I mean, their defense has played very well, and they beat Cincinnati week 1. Yeah, and they almost beat Seattle this week too. So it's not because their offense is a juggernaut. It's because their defense is pretty staunch. So if we can find a way to light them up.
That's
That'll be
fair,
nice.
actually. And you just played against the Titans, and maybe a similar story. So maybe it isn't a given that you guys will roll over the Pats.
I would love to. I would love to win. Like I'd love.
Right.
I'd love like a 38 to like
Just a beat
17,
down.
just a
Yeah.
beat down. Like so I can like, every Sunday I'm like fucking white knuckling it, and I'm like, please don't get hurt, Aaron Rodgers. Please don't get hurt, Brees Hall. Like it's just, it's not. It hasn't been stress free to watch football recently.
Pretty much all our teams really don't beat down teams much, do
Yeah.
they?
Hey. Let's talk. You want to shift gears and talk about these fucking New York Mets?
We can bounce around, man. I love it. And what better time to show off some of the gear I got? Mikey and I went to the Cincinnati game on last Saturday.
Correct.
A week or two ago, and they won 4-0. We went a little crazy with the souvenir cups coming home with us.
I love it.
Look at that. What's cool about this actually has the grip.
Nice.
Like to practice your knuckle.
And do you still have the old cup
for
from
the ladies?
That's right. Do you still have the old cup from back in the day?
Yeah, man. It's hard to see my background, but this is like permanently part of the crew. This is the old Sports Channel mug sponsored by Michelob. Oh yeah, I have a random DAC baseball in there. I'll tell you that story sometime. But yeah, man, it was a good day for merch. We got the Mets jersey.
The Mets hockey jersey, yes.
And it's not terrible. It just says New York. There's no like advertisement on it. It's actually maybe wearable. I'm wearing it on the show. Man, fuck.
Mine's already in the Goodwill bag.
Well,
yes, but
you're not saving it for Ori.
No. I definitely. I was like, "Do you want to keep these, babe?" When we got back to the hotel that night, and she was like, "Yeah, why not?" And then we got home, and she's like, "Do you want to keep these?" And I was like, there was a reason why I asked you in the hotel. Yeah, I don't need another thing, right?
I'm not saying it's quality, but it was, it's free.
Right, it was free. You know what it did? It kept me warm from inning 3 to inning 7. Yeah.
It helped, right? It was a little chilly.
It was a chilly day that day. So, Doug, let's talk about that for a second because we are up against it right now. We got, 12 games left?
Yeah, it's like it's really sneaking up on us. It's sneaking up on me. I didn't see much of this weekend series, but you're right. Every single game now going forward is must win. It's crucial. Yep. It's tonight. That's they need to sweep this team realistically because the other teams aren't losing, and the Nats are not the White Sox. So. Where to start with what's going on? My God, the starting pitching's been so good.
Starting pitching's been good.
Good. Who was it? Peterson yesterday, and I didn't watch most of it, but that was scoreless game going into the 7th.
Yep. And we were up 1-0 going into the 9th.
No bats, and I feel like the bats have cooled off in the last week or two, right? And the bullpen is not to be trusted. It's come through big time. It's not to be trusted though.
Well, they blew the last 2 games. I mean,
they did. Technically,
we had a 4-0 lead on Saturday when we ended up losing 6-4.
I didn't see that one.
So big turning point in the game. Severino's cruising. He's at like 75 pitches. He had given up a solo shot to Harper. I don't know what inning it was. Maybe the 4th inning. So we're up 4-1. And then in the 6th inning, he's cruising. He's got 2 outs, nobody on, and Trey Turner's at the plate, and he fucking hadn't walked anyone all game, and he walks Trey Turner. And everyone's like, you've got to get Trey Turner out here. And he fucked around.
He's such a pain in the ass. He's such a good player, man.
He's a pain in the ass, but don't walk him. Let him, if he gets a hit. If he gets a hit, he gets a hit. Let him hit your fastball.
I still don't understand why the Nationals traded everybody they did, but they're cheapskate owners, I guess.
Yeah, I think they just didn't want to pay anybody. So they fucking walked Trey, and of course they get Bryce 3-2, and Severino.
Was this Danny Young? Oh, it was Sevy.
No,
okay.
This is Severino. He hangs a fucking slider to him. And it's 4-3 at the end of the 6th. And then he ends up, he gets the next guy out, whatever. So that was annoying. And then Danny Young comes in and he walks or he gives up. I don't even blame Danny Young. Danny Young sawed off. It was two lefties in a row. I can't remember exactly who it was, but it was like Marsh. I want to say it was Marsh and who's their other lefty? Cal Stevenson, maybe.
Yeah.
No, not Cal Stevenson.
Or no, Weston Wilson. Well, yeah.
No, it was like Marsh and someone else, and they both got like bloop singles. They were shit.
Is Stott a lefty?
Yeah, it was Stott. That's right. It was Stott and then Brandon Marsh, lefty, two literally bloop singles. Not barely got anything on him. Opposite field, like just dunked him in. It was good. He made good pitches, and then they brought in. They bring someone in, or they let him pitch. They let him pitch to Cal Stevenson, and that guy crushed a double. And then JD in the bottom of the inning or the top of the inning went yard, and that guy robbed a home run, and that would have made it 5-5, and it would have also changed the game. So Cal Stevenson single-handedly beat us with Bryce Harper's help on Saturday.
This is good baseball. This is September baseball. It's kind of awesome that we're here. Yep. And by the way, the bullpen's bailed them out a lot in the last month or two. So I'm not even like getting on them. It's just that there's only so much these guys can do, and now.
Well, you get a 1-0 lead. You get a 1-0 lead to Diaz in a must-win game, and you expect him to fucking win that, and instead
didn't Peterson start the 8th, and then and then someone immediately doubled. Yeah,
let's take a look. Because I thought it was a walk-off in the 9th, but maybe I misread that.
Yeah, but I think they tied the game in the bottom of the 8th. Lead off double, and you're right. I think they did bring Diaz in once the fire got started. But
so you're right. They scored in the bottom of the 8th, and then a walk-off home run in the 9th. But you can't give up a walk-off home run. Or is it not a walk-off home run? It was a walk-off.
Was that Diaz again?
No, it was Diaz, I believe. No, it wasn't a home run. We're fucking really doing terrible on this show today. We don't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
We're rusty as hell.
Yes, so you're right. Peterson gave up the 2-out hit, and then it looks like Maton inherited, and then maybe they scored off of Maton. And then Riamalto singled to get Castellanos in the 9th. So either way, the bullpen, fuck the Phillies. We should have swept the Phillies, but in reality, we lost 2 out of 3 because our bullpen and our pitching kind of failed us a little bit.
And of course, I'm bitching about the bats, but they did hit like 3-run bombs on Friday. That was fun.
Yes, they did.
And again, like the starting pitching has been so great. I'll use that word because I think the stats back it up going back to like August. But and we have Minaya again tonight. Hopefully we can pay back Jake Irwin because I think he shut us down earlier in the year. I don't think the Nationals are going to be real easy, so I'm nervous. But hey, dude,
look, man, you got to.
We're tied for the wild card. Let's fucking go.
We're tied for the wild card. We got to
get in.
We got 3 against the Nats. We got 4 against the Phillies, 3 against the Braves, 3 against the Brewers. So that's 13 games left. You gotta go like 9-4 in this stretch, and this is no easy stretch. And you gotta beat the Braves. You gotta beat the Braves 2 out of 3. If you don't do that, the season's over, right? So
like you really can't lose elsewhere. So it really is kind of that Brave series. By the way, you're right. Come on, LA. Could you maybe be LA this week? Of course not.
Right. No. Would they lose 2 out of 3 to the fucking Braves at home, or were they in Atlanta? I don't know. Again,
I think they were at home, but we are doing terrible, man. I love it. Yes. Hey, I forgot to. You know what else we did wrong? I didn't even tell you guys about my beer. I picked this one because it was emblematic of what the Giants did yesterday.
Which is
the loaf.
The loaf.
I mean, they ended up, leaving another loaf on the field. It wasn't an egregious loaf like last week, but it was a loaf.
So Daniel Jones looked okay this week.
Yeah. Oh no,
don't
steal all my thunder, man.
What was the problem?
Well, first of all, the problem is your gimpy kicker was already gimpy, and you had no plan for that. That cost him 3 points. But no, you know what the problem was is the defense gave up 425 yards or whatever to Brian Robinson, Jaden Daniels, and
Right.
Austin Eckler. And I mean, they just couldn't stop him. It was what was it? 7 field goals.
Yeah.
Could one of those been a punt? No. And
Could,
I
was
so
it the
I
run
went
they
up.
couldn't stop?
Yeah, the Washington had 215 yards on the ground.
Wow.
B Rob had 33. Daniels was running all over the place as well. I looked it up. They did sack Daniels like 5 times, which kind of surprised me, but I think that's because he was just like, jumping around the pocket. None of our big pass rushers had any of those sacks. It was a bunch of like safeties and linebackers.
So
Um,
coverage sacks.
yeah, like so. One of my questions on our note sheet is where's the pressure? We put some chips on Brian Burns. That's not there. Tibbs didn't get a sack either. Yeah, before I get to the offense, there were some good plays. Like all the rookies look good. Like Newman and especially Drew Phillips are standing out. I think there's a lot of hope here with the Giants roster, but it's just like yesterday was the Daniel Jones performance that is kind of in the really good zone. No turnovers. Yeah, the yardage wasn't great, but he only got sacked once. There were obviously some drops. I mean, Leak kind of cost them the game. If you want to make that argument, I'm not going to really, I'm not going to push back too hard. He should have caught that ball. But you saw that he can be a target monster and a difference maker on this offense, right? 10 catches for 130-ish yards or whatever. So, and again, Daniel Jones played fine, I thought. And he made some tough runs, actually. No one should be getting on Daniel Jones this week like they did last week, at least for now. I mean, the schedule's getting harder. So this isn't good for this season. How is that not a win when you score 3 touchdowns? Actually, it's the second time in history, and the other time someone scored 3 touchdowns and didn't let up any and lost was an overtime game.
It's
crazy.
To your point, I think you make a good point. So was Gano like questionable going into the week, and they went with him?
He had some kind of groin discomfort already that they were talking about, and they had room on the roster to activate the backup. Like as an emergency, the backup kicker, but they didn't do it.
And, so that's on Daboll then. Like you can't.
It is.
I mean that's done. Like and to your point, they couldn't kick an extra point, right? So did they make?
Well, they tried one of them. They tried it with the punter first, and he missed it, and then they just went for 2 for the rest of the game and missed those.
Right. So they scored 18 points on 3 touchdowns, and they lost 21-18.
Yeah, dude, just 7 field goals.
Dude, that's god awful.
This team covers the table in terms of losing, man. They get creative. We're in a bad spot, and
I will say
the schedule's a nightmare.
Yeah, well, you guys, this was your home opener, right, against Washington?
No, this was in Washington, I believe.
It was in Washington. Oh, you played at home the week before against Minnesota, and you got your dicks kicked in at home. Never mind.
Oh yeah.
So okay, so you were in
by
Washington.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, by Sam Darnold. Well, he's 2-0, man. Didn't he beat the Niners?
And they look good doing it. They beat the Lions on the road. No, I'm sorry. The Niners. Jesus Christ, dude.
Niners at home.
We got to stop doing Monday shows. I'm thinking of Maker Bayfield.
Yeah, this is Monday. My friend. So, yeah, man, they, jumping all around. But the Giants, the positives, Malik Neighbors look good, real good. After looking okay in week 1, right? He
can be good. Obviously the focal point, and that's that's exactly what I thought I would see after.
And Singletary looked pretty good too, right? I mean,
other than the fumble, yes, he's an effective player in this offense.
He gave you a ground game so that you could at least keep the defense honest, right? Which I think.
And by the way, the line was great. Again, only 1 sack and over 100 on the ground.
So think about it, man. I mean, you have a semblance of I don't want to call it a formidable offense, but you have an average NFL offense, right? Like you can put some points on the board.
They can score. They're capable of putting up 30 on like a
Let
very
me
good day.
let me ask you this because I didn't watch much of the game except for I watched Red Zone for most of the day. Were there any points in time where you opted to punt because your kicker couldn't kick the field goal and you weren't close enough?
Yeah, they.
So you were in field goal range a couple times and you just tried to pin them back.
They went for it instead of kicking a 40-yard field goal late in the game.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, you got to hang this one solely on Daboll for not
you kind of
elevating a kicker, knowing he had a gimpy kicker. So that's
you kind of do, but like also I put some of it on Bowen. This defense, even though like the young talent is flashing here and there, this defense is not stopping anyone, and it's kind of scary. I mean, yeah, Daniels like Washington might have a good offense, especially if Daniels clicks, right? And he's a scary talent, man. But dude, like they couldn't stop him all day.
Yeah, they didn't shadow him or anything, and he just had his will running all over the place.
Or they couldn't stop B-Rob, like they couldn't stop the entire attack, right?
Yeah, and that's you're predicated on your defense. Like your defense was supposed to be ahead of your offense.
Like this was supposed to work if Daniel Jones could be like good to mediocre to good, right? And then we have that attack that we were building from the line out, right? Yeah. So I'm concerned because Daniel Jones actually came through on his side of the bargain this week, and we still lost. Well, that's not good.
No, it's not good.
And their upcoming schedule is also not good.
So who we got in the next couple weeks?
I'm pouring a Space Cat Imperial Pumpkin Ale.
Oh, it's pumpkin
because I'm a basic bitch.
It's pumpkin season.
It is pumpkin season, motherfuckers. It's decorative gourd season. So check this out. So at Cleveland, which is a different kind of shit show, but on the road against a very good defense at least. And then Dallas at home, and then out to Seattle, fun, and then the Bengals at home, and then the Eagles at home.
You're going to be 0-7. Do you think that Daboll survives that, or does he? No.
No. He'll coach past week 7. Sorry.
You think he'll make it through this whole year?
I think if they go like 3-14 or whatever, no. He won't be back next year. Sorry, you're looking for the in season off with the head. I don't think so.
No. I guess why? Because the Giants have never done that, right? They've never canned a coach in season. They'll just let him.
Just Eli. Have they ever canned a coach in season? No, I think even like Shermer made it through. Judge made it through.
Did McAfee make it through? I think so. That's I think a typical. Yeah. That's a typical Giants thing. Is like, no, I think McAfee did get canned because didn't Patrick Graham take over as interim coach for a couple of games?
I've kind of blocked that era out, but that does sound familiar.
Yeah, I do think because then he interviewed because then Graham interviewed for the head coaching job, and there was a couple of people that wanted him to take over, and he didn't get it, and then he stayed on as the fucking DC the next year. Does this all make sense, or am I making this all up?
It was such a rough era for a Giants fandom. That was when like my interest was at the low point because it was right before we started doing this show. And when you asked me to do this show, you're like, well, you got the Giants covered. And I'm like, I'm back. But man, that late Eli era really, I know you don't want to hear it, but that was terrible. The whole Gettleman experience. You remember the text threads.
Gettleman was awful. And not only was Gettleman awful, but he chose Shermer as his first coach. Yeah. Shermer was awful. He's never been even a good offensive coordinator. I don't know why he came in to be a head coach, and that was his second shot at it, and he still sucked.
He won a couple of games with the Browns, and so they had to. Yeah, he was supposed to be a great offensive mind or something, and he was just like he was milquetoast. I don't remember him. I have no recollection of him on the sideline. I'm sure he was there.
Right. And then who did you bring in after Shermer? Was it?
It was Judge. I
Oh,
think.
that's right. You had Joe Judge, dude. Those were bad years.
We were all trying to talk ourselves into it.
I wasn't. I was
Belichick
telling,
tree. He's motivated. He flips over tables. Yeah, he's a special teams coach. Wait, what?
dude. Name me the last special teams coach that A got a job and B was successful, not named John Harbaugh.
Frank
Go for
Stallone.
it. Right.
I don't know.
I don't think it exists. That's why you don't know. There is no other one.
Yeah,
And Belichick tree is like the kiss of death.
it
Name me the
is.
last Belichick coach that came out and did something.
Nope.
I can't
Remember
tell you.
Todd Haley? Nope, I don't either.
No, he's like coaching high
And
school football. I think he's the offensive coordinator under Adam Gase. It's somewhere in like
I was going to
Pringlesburg,
say,
Ohio.
thank God that you guys were dicking around with Adam Gase at the same time. Like the spotlight was kind of like off us a bit for being
He
so goddamn
was,
dysfunctional. But
dude.
let's face it, man, the Giants have been one of the worst franchises in the last decade, and maybe a little more now in the NFL.
Only rivaled by this team. This team is the worst franchise of the last almost 2 decades. We haven't been to the playoffs, Doug, since I was
I
in
know.
my. We haven't been to the playoffs, Doug, since I was. I think I wasn't even married the first time. I've been married, divorced, and married again, and have a child now since the fucking Jets made the playoffs. For real. I think the last time was
Was Obama still
2011.
president? Yeah,
Definitely,
it's like
definitely
Obama's
Obama.
first term.
Yes, I think he had just gotten into. No, it was still his first term. He had been in for a while. But man, the Jets are the fucking
Yeah,
dude. And we were talking. I was talking about it with Fissel yesterday because he, obviously he's a Commanders fan or Scan, whatever the fuck you want to call him.
tell him I say what up. He
I
lives down
will.
the
I
street.
will.
I never talk to him.
I know, dude. You are the worst. You got to be better about your social interactions with locals, or do you?
It's
You
too
don't have to
much.
do anything. You don't have to do anything, Doug. I'm just kidding. But yeah, and he was
Love you,
like, well,
Fizz.
he's like, what is it with your team? And I'm like, I was really thinking about it yesterday because there was a point where I shut the TV off because I'm like, this is not enjoyable to watch this team like go 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. So I put Red Zone on. I'm like, if they do something, it'll come on Red Zone. If something happens to them, it'll come on Red Zone, and I don't have to sit here.
You're summarizing
And
last decade of my Giants fandom, by the way. Go ahead.
right. So I'm like, why, right? And I really think it's a two-pronged answer. One is we have an owner that cares more about headlines and making money than he does about actually putting a winning product on the field, and he meddles. And he's like the guy that he's like the owner that like treats it like his fantasy football team. Like he hires the GMs that he wants to have a little bit of input on. And I don't know if that's happened with Joe Douglas, right? But I'm sure it has to some extent. And like, and then so all those things, like, either doesn't give enough time, gives too much time. It lets like fucking, why is Peyton Manning influencing who the fuck we hire as our coach, aka Adam Gase? Like, it's not like Peyton Manning was like this great New York Jets quarterback. He has zero allegiance to make our franchise do well. He has allegiance to make that shithead coach get a job. But like, what the fuck, man? Like, why was that heavily weighted? We bring in like consulting companies to hire like GMs. It's asinine, dude. Like, we just need to find a good football guy and bring him in and let him do what they do. And Joe Douglas, I think Joe Douglas is good at drafting talent, and I think he's good at making trades and identifying talent. I think Joe Douglas is shitty at hiring head coaches. And the one thing this team has never done in my entire lifetime, that's not completely accurate. They drafted and developed Chad Pennington, and I think if Chad never hurt his arm, he would have had a different career. But he was a good quarterback.
I agree, but like I've been hearing this argument for so long, it's getting kind of sad. There needs to be another guy since Chad Pennington.
Dude, there hasn't been though. We've drafted so many quarterbacks. Sanchez was kind of like had a glimpse, and then
a couple of championship regressed, man.
But it was.
I wasn't
it was in spite of him. It was
in
spite of him. I mean, he. I don't know, man. It was
at some point you guys were calling him Sanchez. Was that just like a few weeks?
I mean, that's a fucking New York Post thing. Like, yeah, sure.
I mean,
he got
God,
the big
New York's a
contract.
nightmare to play in, huh?
And that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's just the media fucking murders everyone for everything, and there's no time. Like, look at the Packers, dude. They drafted Jordan Love, and I'm not saying that they did it right or wrong with Rodgers. I think they missed. I think they missed a window with Rodgers, but they picked, to like take a receiver in his year 36.
Oh, and keeping Mike McCarthy employed for so long. Oh yeah, they fucked up his career.
I mean, they won a Super Bowl with him, but I think they missed.
They should have won. Right, they should have won 4.
Agreed. So I think from the standpoint of what all I really want to focus on right now is Jordan Love. Look at Jordan Love. The guy got to sit and watch, and he didn't get thrown to the wolves, and he got to go every day to learn how to be a professional. And like, granted, the first game in this year, he gets hurt and he didn't look great, but I think a lot of that had to do with the field in Brazil more than him just not being prepared.
Oh, dude. Oh, that game that sucked.
Right. That sucked. Hopefully they don't.
Like, everybody was falling down. Like, they got lucky. It was only Love that got hurt.
This guy hurt his fucking knee. And I'm sure that, he got hit at the end of the game, but I am sure running around on that field for an hour is what like loosened it up to make it not be in great shape. But my point is, there's no patience for any New York team because you gotta, you want to put your best product on the field. But if we just took some time and a page out of that book, like, look at Geno Smith, man. Like, I'm not saying he's a good NFL quarterback, but
look at Sam Darnold.
Look at Sam Darnold. I mean, I'm not saying he's a good NFL quarterback, but like, these guys have finally had a chance to sit.
Are you saying this though, like that maybe the Jets should have just held on to Zach Wilson for now and let him just kind of?
They tried that last year. After last year, that was my hope, is that he could sit and learn up behind Rodgers for a couple of years. But after what happened last year, he couldn't handle the New York market. That's why.
So do you think Sam could have never thrived here either? Because if not, then that is a serious consideration when you're evaluating your quarterbacks, right? It has to bump to the top of the list.
I think that if you're gonna draft and invest all this capital in a young quarterback in the New York marketplace, that there has to be patience with not only the quarterback, but the coaching staff. Yeah. And if you believe that you have the right coaching
there's also salary cap pressure too.
I get that, but dude, look at the Packers, man. I mean, they are the fucking they're the epitome, right? Look at the fucking Niners, right? Like, the Niners have a good staff that can develop a quarterback, right? And they've proven that. But if you look at the Packers, Love just got his max deal and they are still fine, right? And they every year they bring in their draft picks that fill holes. The Ravens are also great at this. They bring in players. Lamar didn't really play his first year. He sat on the bench until like the end of his first year, and then he came in towards that playoff game, if you remember.
And he didn't get drafted until like
32nd
overall, or the early second. And I remember being so mad at the Giants. That was
32nd overall. Yeah, the Ravens doing
and the Giants
what they
had
do.
They had like the 34th pick or something. I'm like, move up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I guess my point is, if you're going to draft a quarterback anywhere, but specifically in New York, why not let them sit for a year? I'm not saying let them sit for all 4 years like the Packers did, but let them sit for a year, maybe 2 years before they take over your team. Because otherwise you've run, like, look at how many busts we've had lately as first round quarterbacks. Like Bryce Young just got fucking benched today. He's played 19 games as a starting quarterback. These guys
just get hit by a bus. They're thrown into these terrible situations and these terrible teams.
19 games. 19. The number one. Listen to this, Doug. The number one overall pick, the guy that the Carolina Panthers traded up for and thought was better than any player in the draft. Now, whether they were right or wrong is irrelevant in my conversation to you. But after 19 games, he just got the hook. And he's probably not going to go back in.
He got the hook? I'm sorry. I didn't see
He got benched today. Bryce Young benched today for Andy Dalton.
Oh, God.
But you know what? The point is Andy Dalton gives him a better chance to win at this point. And it's like, well, why didn't you let Dalton play for the whole season last year?
Yeah, maybe, but I think it's more to your point. Let Bryce sit for a bit and just watch.
Correct. Oh, I mean, if after 19, I mean, he didn't start opening day last year, right? He probably didn't come into like game 4 last year. But if you're going to bench him after 15 games or whatever the case may be, I don't know, dude, that's craziness to me. So,
well, you guys did that to Zach, or was he benched in year 3?
Zach got benched year 2 and year 3.
Yeah.
Zach started from game 1. So, I don't know. Zach never had a chance. Sam started from game 1. Right. Never had a fucking chance. And the problem with that, with both of those guys, is they thought they had the right guy with Sam under Gase, but they didn't. And then they brought Saleh in, and at that point, they had such a bad year with Sam that they were at the top of the fucking pick, draft. And they took Wilson, who that was the COVID year when you had, I don't know. Anyway, we're going down rabbit holes here. The problem is the New York Jets and the New York Giants have not developed a quarterback since Eli Manning. That was the last quarterback that was developed by either team, and Chad Pennington, respectively. And that's when did Eli get drafted? 06? 05?
04.
04. So 04, and he played 15 years, right? So you guys got real lucky that you did develop one, and he was able to perpetuate you for a decade and a half.
Eli, right. And Favre and Rodgers are the dream. Maybe Green Bay has it again. Thank you for this segue, unless you want to say a little more, because I do have a segue back to the Giants about this.
No, that's good.
I know you're going to get on me because Garrett Wilson is a hell of a talent, but one thing I'm really happy about, and I swear to God, this isn't because I drafted Leak in our league, but he really did. I really have some hope that this offense can actually function with like maybe a mid quarterback, if they want to go defense first, which they're not really doing. But like, this dude gets open.
Yes,
like,
I think
he had his coming out party yesterday, and just to have anything on this roster that other teams have to like fear.
Well, hold on one second.
Man, killing my momentum.
Sorry, I brought the dog in the studio with me, and he wanted out, and he was scratching at the door.
Yeah.
So
because I started talking.
Malik Neighbors, keep going.
Man, you cut me off, but I was saying, it's just to have a piece on the offense, and that opposition fears. That we haven't had that since Beckham started being weird. So that's what, like 7 years, 6 years. Either way, who cares? There is hope in Giants land. There is. I have no idea what's going on with this coaching staff. Shane Bowen obviously needs to tighten up. And Jesus Christ, Brian Daboll, get your shit together, because by the way, they set themselves up for a lot of blowback with how they did Hard Knocks. I love the visibility. I don't want to complain, but they're going to get burned for that because it's New York, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it kind of sucks because like I have a feeling that we'll never get that amount of access again. Hopefully we will. But Jesus, if this all goes wrong like it looks like, and you say 0-7, maybe they win next week, and but you're not crazy that might happen. And no. We could go further down the schedule. I mean, I stopped there because the next week they're playing Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, and there's probably hope that week. And then, of course, they played Carolina in Germany, the greatest spectacle of American football that this century will see.
Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to not watch that game at all and wake up. I'm definitely not waking up.
You sure? Yeah, let's get tickets. I'll bring you out to Germany.
Oh, Germany would be great. I actually love Germany. Have you ever been?
That's bucket list.
Dude,
I've been to countries around it, but
we went a couple years ago for Oktoberfest, and it was everything that you would hope it would be.
I mean, that's basically what this game is. I think it's early November, so that party will still be going.
No, it ends it's funny. Oktoberfest ends like mid-October. It starts in September. It starts like now. I learned that when I was there. Trust me. Oktoberfest. Let's look it up. Munich.
No, it makes sense with alcoholic behavior. Like you start the party way too soon, and then you get
it literally
and
starts,
then you bail out the last part of your plans.
It starts on the September 16th and it ends on October 6th. So, but you said where is it going to be? Frankfurt?
I forget. I was looking at a post. I thought it was Munich.
Yeah, Frankfurt is until the 13th of October. But either way, dude, it's a place you, of all people I've ever met in my life. I know.
I feel like I'm too old now. But I want to sit on that bench.
No. You are not too old. It goes from like 10 in the morning until 2 in the morning. And every tent has signs. They have, and then the only thing to eat there is hot dogs and pretzels. Like,
I'm good with that.
But it's like, it's like bratwurst and, you can get schnitzel and all that stuff.
Yeah, like hold on, hot dog? No, it's not hot dogs. It's
Frankfurter.
Yes,
worse, knockwurst. Yes.
It's
so yeah, dude, but they do actually sell hot dogs there. They're called Frankfurters, and they're like footlongs, and it was one of the best hot dogs.
They invented that?
I don't know. It was one of the best fucking.
I mean, if they want to get bombed again, they can.
It was whoa! Calm down, Eisenhower. It was like a foot long, and it wasn't. They called it a Frankfurter, but the bread it was on was like, I don't know, dude. It was so fucking good, and I just and when I think of it, I think of who would want to be there and enjoy every second of it, and it's you. And they had stupid tents where you could go you could do like lawn bowling.
I love doing stupid shit.
Oh, dude, it's great. It's great. So, we got Josh Rosen saying hello on the chat.
What's up,
hello,
Josh?
Joshua. Hopefully you're still watching, and if not, thanks for tuning in. And I don't know how you feel about Malik Neighbors, Josh, but I'm going to go on a rant that I've ranted before, Doug. And it may not matter. It may not matter after this year because you're going to have to draft a quarterback in the first round this year. Mm-hmm. If you don't draft a quarterback in the first round this year, and you're going to be high enough, most likely, to get one of the top 3 guys, right?
Oh, otherwise, I'm sure I'll be high at the draft. What? Wait. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, it would be fucking malpractice for you guys to not take one this year. And
I mean, if we go 0-7, yeah, I agree.
Even if you don't, you definitely don't want to. You don't want to do another year with. Excuse me. You don't want to do another year with Daniel. So
I know, and by the way, the Dak Prescott dream's over. So
was that really a dream though?
No. But you tried to sell me on Russell Wilson last year, man. So I don't.
To be in there this year, to take over for Daniel Jones, who I think Russell Wilson's an upgrade over Daniel Jones. But next year, no. So I don't know where you go next year.
No, wow, that was a good one. I think you're helping my argument, and like you're pushing it along. They don't have to get a Patrick Mahomes now. They can maybe get away with. Tua is a bad example, but you know what I mean. Like someone who's Jared Goff.
I don't like that argument. That. Who was the last quarterback to win the Super Bowl that wasn't a first round pick?
Oh God, it's a lot of thinking for a Monday, man.
It is
Trent Dilfer.
I mean, he was a first round pick, so no.
I don't know. Hold on, Jalen Hurts. He went. No, that was Carson
they didn't win.
Wentz.
They didn't win the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz was the first round pick.
Nick Foles.
But Carson Wentz got him there. He
okay.
Did. Tom Brady, I guess he was probably the last one, right? And he's
that wasn't very long ago.
Right, for Tampa Bay, right? Like that was the last guy that was not a first round pick. But besides Brady, like name me a quarterback that won a Super Bowl that wasn't a first round pick.
So you think we have to I don't know. I'm like blanking on Super Bowl winners, but Mahomes was picked 12th,
15th overall. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like you don't need to be in the first pick. Hello? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Sorry.
No,
All
it's
right,
okay.
let's see.
Who else has won Super Bowls? Hey, Tommy, I get it.
So
You're
look,
fucking hungry. We cannot do Monday shows anymore.
No, this is terrible. The last quarterback to win was Brady in 21. Brady.
Okay,
And
but
then
like first round is the top 30 picks of the draft. That's cool. What is the argument here? Like that we need to be like top 3?
I mean, since 2010, the only quarterback that has won a Super Bowl that wasn't picked in the first round
Yeah.
was
Well, hold on. I want
Brady
them to
and Russell
draft
Wilson.
I want them to draft a quarterback in the first round. Why are we arguing? Like, I think they should.
You were saying you don't need a good quarterback. You can get by with an average quarterback.
That's not what I said. It doesn't have to be like the perfect guy. It doesn't have to be like a top 3 guy. I don't think it can now be a top 10 guy, maybe.
You know who's
in
playing
the league? In the league. So, but that would be a first round pick.
Do you know who's playing themselves into some relevancy for next year? That's following the Baker Mayfield plan.
Speaking of, Sam Darnold.
That might be your quarterback next year.
Oh yeah, he I'm guessing he's free. If not, he's cheap.
On a 1 year. He's on a 1 year, $10 million deal. That guy might be your quarterback next year. What would you think? What would you think about that, Douglas?
Tommy likes it.
I mean, who doesn't like Sam Darnold?
Cutlets right here likes it, but hey, that poetic justice. Minnesota gets McCarthy, we get Darnold.
Yep.
Darnold goes nuts because Leak Neighbors is kind of like Justin Jefferson.
I think, dude, I think he's better than Harrison. I think Malik is better than Harrison. I know Harrison also had a monster game yesterday.
Yeah,
but
but
Harrison's got actually functional offense down there in Arizona. Yeah. He's got his quarterback. That guy's not going anywhere. They got a decent line. They got a running game. You know, they got McBride, and I don't know who the number 2 is at wide receiver, but he's got some weapons down there. But Malik has zero.
It's funny.
He has zero.
Yeah. The NFL's funny. People were trying to bury Kyler 2 years ago when he got hurt, right? And he looks like an asset, man, to me. I know he's paid a lot, but he's out from under Cliff Kingsbury. And yeah, that does look like that was fun, by the way, seeing Harrison bust out. But again, that I've been preaching this. Neighbors look like a legit stud. The quarterbacks look like a bit of a reach with no help around him. I stand by that argument. You're right, though. We got to draft a quarterback in the first round. I'm with you on that.
Yes. And is Daboll going to be there, or are we going to turn over the roster again, or the
next few? I don't know about turning over the roster, but the next 10 games are going to tell that story. He needs to start winning. He needs to start winning some games. Like Joe Judge thought he was secure, but they were so goddamn bad the second year of Joe Judge that he got the axe. I could see the same thing happening.
This is year 3 for Daboll, right?
And he was NFL Coach of the Year 1.
Yeah, he came in and made Daniel. He almost. I feel like he almost.
They started like 6-1, and since then they have like 6 wins.
They went to the playoffs and they won.
And they look good in Minnesota. They did. That was Daniel Jones. He
turned Daniel Jones into. I think this is actually what is going to be his downfall. Is he had a game plan for Daniel Jones. He put it into action. It worked, but it worked for 1 year, and then the NFL
set him back
got
like
wise.
5 years.
And then the NFL got wise to it. They signed him, and now here we are in year 3 of the Daniel Jones experiment, and the shit that he did year 1 is not working anymore. So
also Daniel Jones is pretty good at getting hurt. I mean, I credit
he got hurt.
He plays fearless, and he did get hurt on a random turf play. I know, but he's also like screwed up his neck before, and he's
taken a lot.
I like how he plays, man. I'm not the person, the guy. Yeah, tough situation. New York Giants quarterback. Welcome to New York, right? And there's a little bit there. He does make things happen sometimes, but yeah, man, it's been tough. It's sad. The breakup's needed.
So
and by the way, the breakup might happen. If we had done this show on Friday, I would have said the breakup might happen in the next couple of games. After what I saw yesterday, I'm going to revise that. I mean, I don't think there's a rush to get Drew Lock in front of
but the
the
only
team,
thing,
but
the
if they
only
are
thing,
like
Doug,
0-7, like that's it.
he's got the injury clause that if he gets injured, his contract and he can't pass a physical, his contract for next year is fully guaranteed.
Oh God,
So
they can't get out from under it if he's hurt.
I mean,
I
they
did not
can
know that.
cut him, they can do whatever they need to do, but like
Well,
you're still paying him full.
see, that's where the NFL is annoying because I know if they cut him at the end of the year or after the season this year, the dead cap's only 11 mil, which is
doable. If he's not injured.
But if he's hurt, you're saying we can't do that.
Look it up. His contract.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I didn't know that.
I'm just telling you. He put his. It's like quarterbacks have been doing this for the last couple of years because they know that their contracts.
Running
really
backs should do that too.
1 and 2. Well, they got no leverage. That's the problem.
They got nothing. Yeah.
They got no leverage. I mean, everyone shits on it, but like, look at it's a converse argument of how many Super Bowl running backs have been first round picks. It's like few and far between because there's how many first round running.
It's like a random occurrence at this point because there barely are any. And
correct.
Although I will say, I mean, Saquon in Philly is gonna maybe blow that up. I mean, that's a perfect landing spot.
But the problem is, like, if I like the year the Cowboys took Zeke, it was like 1 year where Romo got hurt and he was coming back. So it's not like they didn't have a quarterback in a team. They just had a year where their quarterback got hurt and they had a down year because of it. But the year the Giants took Saquon was fucking malpractice because they needed a quarterback.
I was against it.
I mean, we all were, except for Gettle Hummus. And so, anyway.
Although I wanted, I think Josh Rosen. That was the Darnold draft, right? So
which would have been
I would have eaten shit too. Yeah.
Yep.
Obviously, the pick was Josh Allen, but yeah, I can't say that I knew that.
But then pause for a second.
And Lamar, by the way, shit, what a draft.
But what if the Giants took Josh Allen or the Jets for that matter instead of Darnold and whatever you guys did? Like, would they be the same player? It doesn't translate, right? Because it's different coaching, it's different trajectories. Maybe they become in the quarterback abyss, and maybe it's because you need the right people to develop these quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's fine. And it's weird because Josh is such a physical freak, Josh Allen, and he played at a random ass school.
Right.
I feel like he would have succeeded at the Giants or the Jets.
I mean,
but you know, you're right. We'll never answer that.
If you recall that draft, there was a lot of that was the Baker, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson draft, and all those quarterbacks went in the first round. And leading up to the draft, everyone was on Josh Allen going 1 to Cleveland. And then
I thought, I don't remember
the night
that.
before the draft.
I do remember that. Yes.
The night before the draft, it came out that the Browns were going to go. Cause then I wanted Darnold. That's who I wanted.
Well, hold on. Like where was Baker going in that scenario though?
So the Giant, no,
that dude, I don't remember.
It was going to be Allen 1.
Baker was supposed to go mid-round and went 1?
No, it was going to be Allen 1, Darnold to the Giants at 2, because you had the second pick and you took Saquon 2. And then we had the third pick. We traded up with the Colts for the third pick, and we were going to take Baker. So I had resided myself that we were going to get Baker Mayfield, and that's why I started just
that's right.
digging into Baker. And I was like, fuck yeah, Baker Mayfield. And then the Browns took Baker last minute Hail Mary. Like Jimmy Haslam came out and he's like, we want Baker Mayfield. Or the reports started coming out and I'm like, holy shit. And then Dave Gettle Hummus was like, we are taking Saquon Barkley, number 2 overall.
I mean, I think he was doing that the whole time. That's what sucked about that draft.
Right.
I knew they were going to do it. And I was like, this is wrong. It's time to you remember me. I was like, let's break up
100%.
with Eli now. We need to break up with Eli now. This is the perfect opportunity.
Dude, it goes back to like what we said this year.
Guys, I love Eli, the 2 Super Bowls, but that was the wrong move.
How often are you that high in the draft?
Right.
When you're that high in the draft, you take the quarterback, right? Whether you're right or wrong about the quarterback or you can't develop the quarterback is irrelevant. Zach Wilson,
you take him,
at the number 2 pick, was the right move for the Jets at the time that they took him. Now, they didn't develop him properly, and he fucking maybe never will be good because he played at BYU and during the COVID year. But,
right, but he was having those Rodgers comparisons, like Aaron Rodgers comparisons.
Yeah, so. You don't take, dude, his arm action, his fucking arm strength is probably top 5 in the NFL. He just doesn't know where
he hasn't translated in Denver yet, huh?
Because he can't do it with a pass rush coming down his throat.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys should have taken Darnold, and I thought we were going to take Baker. And I was all on the Baker bandwagon. And then Baker went 1, Barkley went 2, and we got Darnold. And I was like, holy shit, we just got the guy I wanted. And then there was a part of me that was like,
Baker.
I didn't think that Darnold was going to drop. That's why I just was like, he's never going to get here. It was kind of like...
you thought Darnold was going to Cleveland.
I thought Darnold was going to you guys at 2 because it was the...
No, yes. It was Gettleman when everybody knew we were being idiots.
I don't know.
Anyway, it goes to show that we don't know shit. But neither does Dave Gettleman.
Yeah. Hey Dave, if you're ever bored because you probably don't have anything going on right now and you want to come on the show, you can join us on a Monday show because we don't know about as much as you don't know. So,
yeah. And I don't. Any address you find to come beat me up, I moved.
Yes, there you go. Well, he's like 70 years old now, and he's from Boston.
He would probably take me still. He had those big ass binders he could hit me with.
Yes.
Do you remember the picture of his draft setup? And it was like the old man off. I don't want to be like, I make fun of old people, but Jesus Christ, it was bad. He had like 3-ring binders all over the place, ready for the draft.
Yep. I don't remember that, but I don't miss that. And curious to see how it all plays out.
We took Daniel Jones that year.
Yep. Cheers. So Douglas, anything else you want to talk about? Mets we covered. Jets we covered. Giants we covered. What else?
I feel like we're just scratching the surface. There's a lot going on. I'm going to be in your neighborhood this weekend. Maybe we'll get up, but no. Pretty good show, even though we're brain damaged. It's Monday. Thanks. If you made it this long, my God, thank you for sticking around. We love you. I have some Vaya con Dioses for you. Some good ones, actually.
Let's hear them.
It's this. We didn't have a show last week, so they're kind of like on the other side. But Vaya con Dios, fucking James Earl Jones, guys. Welcome to Bell Atlantic. Eddie Kranepool, original Met, R.I.P. And I was going to call out some others, but no, look at those big two. You think of those two guys growing up in Long Island, Eddie Kranepool, James Earl Jones. Everybody talks about those two together, just like vanilla and chocolate.
Yeah, lamb and tuna fish.
Yes, well put.
Put
a little dollop on mayo there, and
there you go.
Something.
Well, audience, it's been a great show. Thank you for listening.
Let's go,
Mets. You made it this far. Let's go, Mets. Until next time. There we go. There we go. Yes.
Back on the set.